Hey guys, and welcome to the next episode of Automated Seller Podcast. Today I have a special guest, Hymie. Hi, Hymie. How are you?
Hey Jacob, how are you?
Doing
Great,
good,
thank you.
thanks. And thanks for being here. So I know, Hymie, that you are the ex-Amazon seller and you are the Amazon consultant with a impressive 12 years or experience. But I would love you to basically, if you could introduce yourself to the audience and what you are doing at the moment.
So like you said, my name is Hymie Zebede. I'm an Amazon seller for 12 years. I started off in apparel and I lived off of a few listings for many, many years. Did very well. And I realized I have a gift. Well, just because not that I was born with it, but that I just put so much time into learning Amazon that I really figured out how the algorithm works. And I didn't really know about the importing of merchandise that well. So a few things happened where I brought in goods from China, made a few mistakes, and then I decided, let me focus on what I know best, which is building listings on Amazon. So
That's
started
that's
doing it for people who had stock.
That's
Yeah.
amazing, actually. I would like to focus first on your experience on selling on Amazon and creating the brands from scratch. Like, first of all, what initially sparked your interest in Amazon? How did you start it?
So I was working in retail. I was supervising 30 retail stores in New York City, and I was driving from store to store, and it was a very, very, very crazy job, working 6 days a week and 12 hours a day. And I decided to buy some of the goods, some of the merchandise from the store. I bought some of it and I put it online. I put it on Shopify and on Amazon, and both did well, but the Amazon really took off. And that was just like the beginning of the journey. And then started buying directly from the people, the wholesalers.
Mm-hmm.
Goes on and on. Should I continue, or
Sorry?
should I continue about the story?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually wonder, how did you end up later creating the brands on it?
Yeah. So,
Afterwards.
so
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I started buying from people, from wholesalers, putting up my own listings, and I grew a clothing brand. And after that, like I said, it was doing very well. And I was bringing in container loads of the merchandise for 3 different listings, container loads. They were all like bestsellers. And I didn't negotiate properly with the suppliers. So I lost a lot of money on multiple occasions. 2 different containers. One of them, the items were damaged. The
Mm-hmm.
sizing was wrong. And then the other container, it smelt like fish. So it was completely threw money in the garbage. I didn't know how to take care of that. So then after that, I said, let me focus on Amazon. So I started going up to people and showing people who have very big companies. I was showing them that my Amazon sales are much stronger than theirs. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
a nobody. I made up my own brand, and they're a big brand company, and I'm doing much more than them. So I said, how could it be possible? Obviously, you guys are focusing on what you're good at, but I'm good at Amazon. So let me show you what I could do. So people gave me chances, and I proved myself. I worked very hard at it, and word spread. Hymie did this listing for me. A lot of private label, and then it spread to people who have licenses. So I built up a lot of private label brands for people, one after another, and then people that had exclusives in different categories, such as iHome, Levi's, Champion, Russell, Fila, things like that. They gave me chances to build their listings also for certain categories, and built them up, and they
Yeah.
became $1 million plus listings, and just word of mouth spreads.
That's actually amazing portfolio of brands that worked with you. And also, I mean, your history with Amazon itself, it's just amazing. Not There's so many sellers who are trying, but I guess they are just giving up too early on this. And regarding building listings, that sell over $1 million a year. I wonder what's your secret to such success? Like how can you help or give some advice to sellers who want to achieve it?
First of all, it's don't give up, never give up, because one of my best listings that I was selling and doing very well with was a mistake where I was previously buying a decent, like a mediocre listing, and it was doing well. And then by accident, they sent me something else. And I was so upset. The supplier sent me the wrong thing. I need this other one. And I listed it on Amazon as well. I said, let me give it a try. I listed it on Amazon. And that mistake that they sent me became my bestseller. And then I started phasing out the other items. And it's really just, like not giving up, really networking with people. That was one of my listings where it just came, by mistake, and it became great. And the other one, like I was struggling for so long trying to figure it out. And then I met somebody and they just helped me out. They told me, Hymie, if you look over here, and they were showing me things with the algorithm like this. They were showing me these guys, they're selling much more than you. They don't have a superpower. They just know something that you don't know. So you have to learn Amazon, like how it works, how the algorithm works, and you could just sell as much as them or more.
Totally.
And
And
everyone could do it.
that's actually true. And for the algorithm, I really wonder also, especially nowadays. I mean, we've been at Prosper Show. We've seen so many companies now. Even this podcast, right? It's named Automated Seller Podcast. But I know that in the end, the actual success on Amazon is because you put in the work. It's not that you just use some software and it did everything for you. Especially with the nowadays buzzword AI. I actually wonder, what's your opinion on such a software? Like, can you become successful seller just by getting some software and make it, live in it, and just trusting it that it does the job? Or actually you think that you need to put in work?
It's a combination. I think you have to have trust for software because you need to be able to scale things and automate things, because it's very hard to do things without some sort of automation. But also you need to also use your common sense and your brain. Sometimes it's not only about how many clicks did I get and there was no conversion. Now let me negative the keyword, and there's so many different factors. Sometimes an item won't convert well on a keyword because it doesn't have enough reviews yet. And like maybe like if I had an automated system testing out that keyword and it says, oh, this is a bad keyword for it, but maybe down the road it'll be a good one, and I shouldn't just forget it. Maybe I should pause it now and try it again later on. Or there has to be some sort of, you're using your brain combination for sure.
Mm-hmm. Totally. And actually, I wonder, basically, during your 12 years of experience and mastering the algorithm, did you actually notice that it's constantly changing? Like, did you have some old strategies that worked in the past, but now they are not working? I just wonder.
Yeah, it's changing. It's changing all the time. It's crazy. It's always changing. You always have to be in, I'm in a lot of different group chats and, always talking to different sellers. That's how I learn a lot, just networking with big sellers and seeing what happens to other people and trying to figure out with them. Things always change. I remember years and years ago, there was an algorithm change, and I was like, oh my God, this is the end of Amazon. Like, how am I gonna rank my product? How am I gonna build my product anymore? It used to be, back in the day, you used to be able to give things away for reviews. Everyone did it.
Mm-hmm.
You give things away, you can get reviews, verified reviews. And then they changed it and said, you can give things away, but it's not going to be verified, and it has to have a disclaimer, or maybe it was verified, but it has to have a disclaimer. We have received this review in exchange. We have received this product in exchange for a review, for an honest review.
Mm-hmm.
And then okay. And then we're like, okay, it makes it look a little bit cheesy, but fine, we can still do it. Then they said you can't give away products for reviews. And I was like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
how are we gonna even start products anymore? There's guys with so many reviews. How are we gonna do it? Because before that, it used to be allowed, and then it wasn't allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Things are always changing, but now you have the Vine program, which I love. There's certain tactics that I use with Vine, like starting it off at a low price to make sure that you get good reviews, because even though they're getting it for free, they'll still leave you bad reviews based on what the sale price would be. But yeah, I'm always following the changes all the time, every few months. Changes.
And when you're saying actually that the listing is successful, that the algorithm, like what does it mean for the listing, that it's actually ranking high in a search, or does it always win the buy box? Like what's for you like that you are winning on Amazon and basically you're profitable in the end?
I was going to say, winning on Amazon means that you're profitable. That's the long-term goal. Like a lot of people, they get addicted to just selling and selling. I want to move a lot of units, and they don't have a goal where, okay, you know what I mean? By this target date, I'm going to start making money. They just want to move a lot of units, and they get addicted to having a very impressive, like a BSR, bestseller ranking. But my like, it's going correct, it's going in the right direction when you start ranking organically for good keywords and you start building your real estate. Because if you're only living off of the PPC, once you shut off your ads, you have nothing to bring in the sales. So like, it's very important to make sure that the organic sales are increasing all the time. You have to have that, or else there's no long-term, it's not a business. Once you shut off your advertising, when somebody else has a bigger budget than you, or you can't afford the cost per clicks anymore, you're out of business.
Yes, I also see. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like, I'm not the Amazon expert. I only know how to code and connect to ASP API. But I feel like there's a trend, especially here in Europe. I see a lot of companies, they are putting thousands of listings, like literally so many different like let's say permutation, different color and so on, as a separate listing. Also from different accounts. I don't even think if it's kind of legal completely with Amazon terms and conditions. But I feel like right now it's much better to create one solid brand and one solid listing that will sell just more often. As you said, build it also that it ranks organically, rather than having like multiple, I don't know, thousands of different ASINs.
So I completely agree. I personally, like, that's my whole strategy. I don't work with people that they want you to build up thousands of listings, and I don't believe that they have a big enough budget to do that. And even if they say they do, when it's time to advertise and when it's time to really make sure you have enough inventory for each one, they're not there. They want to send in 20 units of a SKU or 50 units of each child. It's not enough to really build it up. So like, my whole thing is make sure that you can you build a beautiful listing, rank it to the top, and it's something that you can sell 50, 100, 200, 300 units a day. Like, build it very, very strong. And then you go to another one. Like, there's no point of having so many listings that you can't focus on what's good, what's bad. And then you start having meetings. I see people, they start having meetings. What are we going to do about this listing? It's not selling. What are we going to do about this listing? It's not selling. They're having hour-long meetings about what's not selling, and they're not focusing on what's paying their bills. The thing that's making them money, they're not even talking about, oh, this is doing good. Okay, but how could it do better? Maybe we can improve it by looking at the customer reviews. Maybe we could bring in a better color. Maybe you could build off it something, but they're looking at only the things that are wasting their time. And it's wasting so much of their time because they're making meetings about it. So yeah, you focus on something, you build a good listing, make it very, very strong. You do it right. And sometimes people will, like I said, they'll have very small quantities for each. You have thousands of units. How many units are you going to have for each SKU? Like, people forget that. Like I always say, it's very important. Obviously, you can't run out of stock. You run out of stock, it's very bad. Everyone just goes above you. You disappear. But if you run low on stock also, it's very, very bad. Some people could have, I have 50 units. I have 40 units in stock. I'm not out of stock. But your units are not in every fulfillment center. That means somebody from a different state somewhere wants to buy it. Maybe they're not going to be able to get it in 2 days. Maybe they're going to have it in 4 days or 5 days or 6 days. And your conversion rate's not going to be as good. It doesn't matter you have 10 units in stock. It's not covering everywhere. Like, you have to show Amazon they're like a regular retail store. They want to see how many units are here right now, and this is how much it equals, like into their pocket once we sell through it. They can't read
Yeah.
your mind and tell that you're gonna send it in.
And I think it's very actually valuable insight that you gave, and it's actually also related to one of the client cases that we have. So for one of our clients, actually, we've built custom repricer, right? And pretty much, I mean, the algorithm is really good. The repricer works right away for all of his listings, and he wins the buy box, I think, on 70% of all of his listings, which is really a lot. And then I know that whenever he's not winning the buy box, he's super angry and he's calling us like, why is he not winning the buy box? And the thing is that actually that there are other factors that also comes to the play. It's not only the price or like how your repricer works effective, how it adjust the price compared to the your competition prices, but also factors such as you need to have
Units.
the stock, you need to have a units across all of the fulfillment centers. All of this matters actually. So
Yeah, exactly.
definitely. Definitely. Now, Jaime, I wonder for if you work with a client and you want to basically help him or her create such a profitable winning listing, what's the strategy? Could you actually tell us a little bit more of the process, how you work with clients?
Yeah, so first I'll look at the product that they have and make sure it's something that I believe in, because so many products out there are, even though every product you could make a winner, some products you need a lot of money to really build it up. There's some certain supplements, or certain electronics. You got to make sure that you have very good quality in electronics. You can't just have something that's going to get killed with bad reviews, or with supplements. You have to make sure that you have a right budget. So I'll look at it and I'll say, okay, first, is there a demand for this product? And then I'll tell them, what's realistic, what's a realistic investment that they would have to be able to keep up with the competition, because we're in one store. Like Amazon is, you think of it like it's one store, and there's 10 guys. The top 10 guys are on the same shelf. You're showing up right next to these guys. You have to make sure that you can compete with them in order to, if you want to stay competitive, if you want to make the sales, you got to make sure that you belong, that you do everything right. So I'll make sure that we have all that. Then I'll make sure that, very important to be brand registered. A lot of people, they do the brand registry late. They can't do certain things. Like the most important thing, which I think, is Vine. If you don't have Vine, you're not going to be able to build up reviews quickly. And even though Vine could take a few weeks to get the reviews, if you don't have Vine, it could take a few months. And then you're spending money on ads, and you're not converting. So like, if you're doing that, you're showing Amazon from the beginning it's a bad listing. You're showing them that it's not converting well, and you could be destroying the whole future of this listing, because it's all about going in with a bang and showing Amazon that it's the right product from the beginning. And then you got to make sure that the listing is properly optimized. A lot of times people don't have an optimized listing, or they'll optimize it what they think is optimized without looking at the data, without looking at a tool like Helium 10, or they'll just eyeball it, or they'll try to make it very customer, buyer friendly, but they won't try to make it algorithm friendly. So like, you got to find the combination between everything. Um,
Mm-hmm.
After that, once you have an optimized listing, and enroll it in Vine, you got to make sure that the price is perfect. You don't want to start it off in the beginning at a very high price with no reviews, and you want to show Amazon that it's a good product from the beginning, that people want to buy it. So the only way to do that is to have like an introductory, like a low price, something good. And you have to plan all that out in the beginning. You have to plan out your price, plan out that you're going to enroll it in Vine and get good reviews, that you're going to raise your price every month or every couple of weeks till it hits your target. You got to track all the keywords on Helium 10. All the sales come down to, if you really want to make it simplify, you could just say all the sales are going to be maybe 10 keywords are going to drive the majority of my sales. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to be looking at those keywords on Keyword Tracker or whatever tool you use. You can't not be looking at your organic rank and seeing what's happening. There's so much that goes into it, but I don't
Totally.
even
And
know. Yeah.
just actually before you even start like helping with actually optimization of the listing or price keywords, I wonder, like, do you think that you can still win put like in every like product category right now if you start with a fresh listing, or do you think that it's some of the product categories like niches are like totally oversaturated and you actually recommend your clients not to even start there?
Some categories are just so oversaturated. Like it depends. If you're a factory, if you own a factory of Bluetooth headphones, and you want to go into that, or whatever the keyword is. If you're a supplement factory, then that's your business, and I believe you should be on Amazon no matter what. But you have to understand who you're going up against, and there's certain categories that are just so competitive that these guys have so much money that they're willing to say, you know what? I'm not going to make money for a full year. I'm going to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into this listing because I have a factory. I'm producing this forever. Like, so if you're going into something and you're saying, you know what, I'm going to try a few thousand units or something, and you're going against a guy with unlimited budget, you're not going to win that. You're not going to win that. So in that case, you better find something that's a little bit more realistic. It depends financially what you could do, but there's definitely places that are flooded and oversaturated, very hard to get into.
Do you have actually some predictions right now, or like trends that you see that it's easier to get on Amazon when you are like selling X?
What do you mean? I'm sorry, I don't
Like
understand the question.
for example, I just had a call like with also one guy from that's running agency, but it's in Germany, and we see right now the trend that in the past it was usually that we were copying products from Amazon US to Amazon Europe, because Amazon there here was just later, so you could just do that easily. Now Amazon US seems like it's super competitive, oversaturated. However, in Europe, there are few trends. For example, eco-friendly products or handmade products, and now sellers from Europe are expanding to US market and winning in those product categories. And I just wonder if you know some categories, niches, or unique products that right now are trending and you can get on Amazon and easily expand there.
It's very interesting that you said that. I don't really know the categories at the top of my head. I think every category has certain spots that are open. Like, you might think supplements are very, very hard, but there are some supplements that people aren't touching, or there are some dog pet accessories that people aren't touching. Home and kitchen, there's things that people aren't touching. Even care package. There's so many different things that there are things that are open, but you just have to look and you have to do your research.
So you need to
You can
be
find.
also creative, I believe.
Yeah, you have to be. You can't just go in and say, I'm going to buy. It's not the days where people would just go on Alibaba and say, give me this listing and just list
Yeah,
it like that. It's long
totally.
time dead. Yeah.
Now I wanted to talk about one of your like case studies, biggest achievements, that you took a client from $3 million per year in sales to 24 million in sales in 2 years. Could you
Yes.
actually share with us this case study?
So there were a few reasons that, first of all, this company was running out of stock.
Can you tell us
Every
what's the company, or is it like NDA secret?
I can't tell. I can't tell what the company, who the company is, but this company was running out of stock, and just replenishing. Like they would have. It was a clothing, so they would have multiple colors,
Mm-hmm.
and one color sells out, and then they'll bring in. Okay, no problem. We have other colors. We have other colors, but they weren't realizing that Amazon ranks each child ASIN. So like if you have one color and this color is a good color, it doesn't matter that you have another color. That once that main color, that MVP goes down and sells out, your listing crashes. It doesn't stay in the same spot just because you have something else. Maybe it won't die completely, but it crashes. So this company was running out every year, they would run out and they would bring back in, and they would run out and they bring back in. And Amazon doesn't like that. Amazon wants to see that it's something that they could rely on, not something that's selling out and then it does good and then you disappear again for months. So I told them you have to err in the items. And they were like, we're going to lose a little money. We're going to lose a few dollars a piece. It's not worth it. We're going to lose a couple $1,000s. And I was like, I promise you it's worth it, because you're going to show Amazon, like, the longer you have the listing in stock, the more it ranks for there's hundreds of little keywords that are getting ranked. And when you sell out, it disappears completely. So the longer you're in stock and you're showing Amazon a good success rate, it's going to keep getting better and better. And one listing just really, really took off. And that was one of the things. And what was the other thing? And the other thing was that they were focusing on so many items. They were focusing on, like we said before, they were focusing on a lot of items and not focusing just on a couple of the main items that bring the most money. So we said, let's bring in other colors of this, or let's make sure that this size doesn't sell out. Just being very on top of the inventory and very focused on what's working, and whatever's not working, just get rid of, just destroy. Because that's wasting all your brain power. That's wasting all your time, your money, your employees' time. Like, just if you're doing good on something now, and you're not even like they were doing good on something, you're doing a few $1 million, you're doing decent, but you're not even tracking the keywords. So like you don't even know what you're doing. Like whatever's happening is happening by accident. It's happening, the wind, like you're not, imagine you focus on it. That's it. And sky's the limit. There's guys doing millions and millions of dollars. It's crazy. So really just focusing, making sure you don't sell out.
And how about actually expanding to other marketplaces? Like, do you also help your clients to do that, or you're only focusing on Amazon US?
So I only focus on Amazon US. That's what I'm good at. I don't like to. I tried once back when I was a seller myself, and the merchandise just costed me like double the amount of money to get there. The wait, and you have to open up a new. I had to open up a new tax ID in the UK. It just wasn't for me. So I figured, not saying it's not a great move. I'm sure there's a lot of money to be made there. But there's also a lot of money to be made in the Amazon US market that I know I can help with. So I focus
Definitely.
here.
And it's good that you just focus on your strength. I think that's what matters in the end. And also, I don't like just when companies just are forced to expand to other marketplaces, because what matters in the end, as you said, it's a profit, not the revenue.
Exactly.
And Amazon, I mean, Amazon can catch you off very quickly, and you can end up not profitable, even though you're making a lot of revenue. And especially when you expand to other marketplaces. I mean, there are other factors that comes to play. First of all, like taxes, like entities, and then logistics. So there's a lot of factors to consider. But we have a lot of actually clients that are from Europe and are expanding to Amazon US. And I think also nowadays, with a lot of actually services that are out there, it's easier and easier. I recently talked with Tactical Logistics, and they are responsible actually from A to Z, pretty much everything related to logistics. So again, it's easier and easier than it used to be, but definitely it requires hard work as well.
Exactly. I know that Ephraim is a great guy. Like I said, it's just something that I don't know well enough that I would want to tell somebody, let me take you there and promise. I promise what I know I can deliver. I'm not. That's why if somebody says, can you do Walmart for me? Can you do eBay for me? Like I can't. I don't want to try. I know I can do a great job in Amazon for you. Everything else, I don't want. It's not my strength. I'm not here to juggle things and try. Let me show you what I know I could do.
Totally. Also, I wonder what trends do you see right now emerging in the world of Amazon? How do you prepare your clients to those changes? Do you have anything actually that you could talk?
Trends.
Changes, trends. Anything you actually right now, and anything that is happening in Amazon world.
I know that people, I don't know, it's not happening, but it should be happening, that people start sending in their merchandise from now to prepare for Prime Day, and start tracking all their keywords and making sure that their listing is going to be the best that it's ever been for Prime Day. Because I don't know if you saw, I put out a video once where my sales literally 10x'd, and I did very little advertising on Prime Day, just because I made sure that my listing was ranked organically, at that time when there was just so much traffic. So, it's not a change in Amazon, but it's something that I think everyone should be preparing, is just sending in enough stock that, because once Amazon releases the date, and once everyone starts sending it in at the same time, it's going to get crazy delayed and people miss out. The same thing happens with Q4, people, you have to expect a delay. So
that's also exactly what Ephraim said
when
it comes to logistics. So that's amazing. I also want to share actually one big change that people are just not aware. I mean, I'm talking mostly about sellers, agencies. I mean, pretty much everyone who's using some software. There's actually the biggest change that is going on Amazon world, but no one really cares and no one really knows. For us, it's a business, so I'll have to share it. It's the migration to the new API. So there was like old MWS API. It was there for, I don't know, 10 or 15 years. And since 2 years, they introduced the new ASP API, Selling Partner API. And all of the new systems are running on this API. But some of the automation, some of the old systems are still using the old API. So for everyone who is listening, if you are not aware of this topic, definitely Google this out. I mean, we can also help. But I think this is also worth mentioning, because even at Prosper Show, not many people even were aware what's ASP API. So just
I saw a few posts about that also, but I didn't know. You're the expert with SP APIs. I didn't even know how to explain or exactly what's going to even happen. But I saw something was going on with that. Did they say July 1st? Or
yeah, it was July 1st. I think it's
and then
now
they pushed
postponed.
it off, right? Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. I had a call with their core team actually from Seattle, and I told them that no one really cares, that they should push it more and so on. And they after the call, I mean, I don't think it's the reason why. I think it's coincidence, but day after the call, they actually pushed the deadlines. So
maybe it's not a coincidence. I think you have the pull.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I'll tell you what will happen. I definitely hope no one will like be influenced by it. But if someone will be influenced, then definitely it will be poor person, because if you are using the software and it will just turn it off like the old API, everything will crash. I mean, you no longer will be able to use it, right? So we've seen this in one marketplace in Europe. Actually, it's called Allegro, very popular one. It's literally funny thing is they have a fight in Poland to become number one marketplace, like with Amazon. I mean, Amazon is pumping a lot of money right now to win with Allegro, and Allegro just standing strong. But anyway, there was literally this case, and so many businesses got influenced by this, because no one really cared, right? Everyone cares after they do actually something with their business. So just some interesting tip.
Very interesting. And, nice.
Hymie, I actually wanted to ask you one last question for all of the new people who are entering the e-commerce Amazon space. What are your tips and tricks? What are your recommendations to do?
Tips and tricks. Very general. Very okay. Do your research. Don't.
Or like the one mistakes that you see every newbie does, right? That you actually don't recommend to do.
They waste time. They don't go in strong, and they don't go in quick enough in the beginning. They think that it's okay. Let me do everything a little bit later. I'll list it now with bad pictures, and I'll update my pictures a little bit later down the road. Or let me throw up a title now, and if it doesn't work, I'll change it later. They're not doing everything right in the beginning. Or let me start at my price. If it doesn't work, I'll lower it. I'll do it. But everything like that, it's time is against you on Amazon. It's all about the speed to market, and showing Amazon that things are happening in a quick way and that you're converting quickly. And the longer you wait, the harder it gets, and the more money it costs in the long run. Everything costs longer. You know, if you're showing Amazon that it's not converting well on certain keywords, they're going to want to charge you more for those keywords. They're making money off the cost they're making money for each click that they get, but they're also making money for the conversion. You know, they're making their fee. They're making money. So they want to put items that they know are relevant for that term. So they know they want to show items that are going to convert. So if you're trying to advertise something and it's not converting well, they're not going to want to show it. So you're going to, and it's not converting well because maybe it's a great product, but your picture sucks, or maybe your title isn't good, or maybe your price too high and you're not giving the customer a good intro price. And now Amazon thinks that it's not a good match for this keyword, and you're going to have to keep raising your price. Sometimes people raise their price, their cost per click, keep raising it, and they're not even getting any impressions. They're not getting any impressions. Amazon doesn't think they belong there. It's just about do it right in the beginning. Do your research. Go in with a bang. You know, great images, great listing, competitive price. Do it right.
Totally. So yeah, I mean, for everyone who is listening, if you have more questions, if you need more detailed strategy, I highly recommend you to reach out to Hymie. Hymie, how people can find you actually?
You can find me on LinkedIn. You can search my name, Hymie Zebede. You could also go to my website, hymiezebede.com. And you could email me at hymiezebede.com.
Perfect. I'll make sure to also put all of the details here in the
Might be hard to spell.
description. So yeah, Hymie, that was a really informative session podcast. Thanks a lot for being my guest and sharing all of your insights.
Thank you, Jakob. It was great.
Perfect. So yeah,
my pleasure.
Thank you for listening, for watching, and till next time.